Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and you are watching the Exploring Oracle or the Exploracle for short. So this is another episode of my deck collection series, and this time we will be taking a look at my decks for divine feminine wisdom, women empowerment, my empowering decks, my body positive decks. So yeah, let's get into it. So if this is the first time you're catching this series, I am going through my entire tarot and oracle deck collection, and I've categorized them as best that I can. And for each deck, I'll just show you some of the cards, talk about them a bit, and decide whether I'm going to be keeping them, think of whether I'm not sure if I will be keeping them or homing them, or if they're definitely leaving my collection. So let's start off with this category by taking a look at these two decks. So this is the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. I believe this is already the second edition, or like there was another Oracle deck that this was based off from. I didn't have that version, so this is the one that I have. I haven't really worked with this yet, but I did take time to edge it in this light yellow. So I got this because I was drawn to the art style. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I am usually drawn to this type of art. So like the watercolor, nature-based, colorful art style. So this is definitely something that I would be drawn to. And I am also the type of person that gets drawn to really big and informative guidebooks, which I think this one is. I haven't really had time to work with this deck yet, but it is definitely something that I feel I would enjoy reading about, working with, and definitely a keep in my collection. So let me just put this back, and then let's take a look at let me put this to the side. So let's take a look at the Wisdom of the Divine Feminine. So this is an indie deck, a reasonably priced indie deck, I must say. There's also the Wisdom of the Divine of the Shadow, which has the same art style. And again, you can see the type of art that I'm usually drawn to is this type, colorful, nature-based, watercolory. I like that the images of the women here are very diverse. There's a lot of body diversity, ethnic, age diversity. I do like the keywords as well on this deck. And same with the other oracle deck, it comes with a very informative guidebook. So these are the types of oracle decks. These are the types of decks that I enjoy working with. It also gives you like journal prompts or contemplations. So it gives me something to think about, which is what I like about working with decks or with tarot and oracle. It really just gives me time to think about, to reflect about things, and I enjoy that type of work a lot. So next, let's go into this deck. This is the Wisdom of Tula. For those decks that I have filmed a flip through of, I will be linking them in the eye. So this deck has a lot of feminine wisdom that whenever I use it, it makes me feel like I'm connecting with the energy of my grandmothers who have passed. And this actually made me quite emotional. And there's a lot of wisdom in this deck that I just want to devour. I think this is really a special deck. Whenever I pull it out, I feel goosebumps, which I am feeling now. So there's really a strong connection to me with this deck. And yeah, it's definitely a keep. And a deck that I don't really see a lot of, but at least for me, is really, really special. So that is the Wisdom of Tula. Moving on, this is the Neoteric Feminine Tarot by Spell. And this one is actually an RWS clone, and I think I could have actually put that in this deck in that category. But since this is all female presenting figures, I just put it in this category instead. So it is very much an RWS. It has a really good cardstock that I enjoy. It's like the Modern Witch. It reminds me of the Modern Witch tarot, and it makes me feel that same energy, but less witchy and a lot more usable because of the cardstock. Because I rehomed that deck because the cardstock was just really too thick. I couldn't work with it. Now this deck is something that I enjoyed working with a lot in the past. I just really have a lot of decks. That's why I have to rotate my entire collection, and I just keep it. But I love the colors, love the cardstock, and definitely a keep in my collection. You also have the guidebook is pretty. It's okay, but you do have a meaning for love, for career, and finances. It's a short write-up, but I think it's very informative, very beginner friendly. Now the cardstock for Spell isn't the same across all of the decks, because I did purchase one. I think it was their like beginner tarot, and I did not like the cardstock on that one, and I rehomed it. But for the Neoteric Feminine Tarot, that is really, really good. Okay, so let's move on to another mass market oracle deck. This is the Magical Spirit Oracle, the Brilliance of You. So the art style, it feels like a vintage art style. Don't worry, darling. Yeah, but the phrases and the messages are very empowering. So it feels like posters, like vintage posters. Really unique in my collection. It's actually a deck that's a little bit difficult to pair with because of the art style. But yeah, I do enjoy the messages on this deck. They are very empowering and to the point. So yeah, just flipping through the cards, so you can also see the images. Feel free to speed up, slow down, or pause. Yeah. Your energy is valuable. Protect it well. So yeah, very easy to digest messages. This is the Magical Spirit Oracle, and definitely a keep. Okay, let's look at an indie deck now. So this is the Self-Love Tarot. This is by Hannah Chicoire. So this feels like a very body positive deck. I love the art, because of the figure, the full figure, the hair, the shapes, the colors are so nice. The cardstock is glossy and it's okay. I could hope for a better cardstock, but it is quite usable, so no complaints. And it doesn't feel overly thin, so I don't really mind, or overly thick for that matter. So yeah, there's really something about this naked figure in this deck that I find very empowering, because it's not the body beautiful type of image that we are so used to seeing. So I do enjoy this deck. I like it even more because of the positive energy guide that comes with it. So this is a self-love tarot. So you have a right up here for each of the cards. Now I do wish that this was just in print, because I have bad eyesight and sometimes the text is a little bit hard to read, but it is big enough so I can manage. So that is the Self-Love Tarot and the Positive Energy Guide. I will be keeping this in my collection. Next, let's move to another mass market deck, This is the Portraits of a Woman inspirational cards, and this is by Los Carabello. So this is new to my collection, and I haven't really seen a lot of this in Tarot Tube, but when I was looking at the recent Llewellyn sale, I saw this deck and I was intrigued because I think when I purchased it, it was at a time that I was really working with Divine Feminine and, a strong woman, empowered woman energy. And I saw this and come on, it's in watercolor. It's the type of, again, art that I am drawn to. Now, I don't usually lean or am drawn to people in cards, but since it's it's about women, it's portraits of a woman, I was more inclined to pick it up. And I love the affirmations here, like I am spontaneous, I am assertive, love this card, I am calm, I am organic. So I don't see this a lot, but I actually really enjoy this deck. And the Los Carabello decks, they are, the guidebooks are in multiple languages, but even though they have short write-ups, they give you a lot to think about. So, I am independent. It seems sometimes we have things we cannot do without. So, just as a sample, let me read this one. I am independent. It seems sometimes we have things we cannot do without, and those things are not in our control. They become chains. But no matter what, it's possible to go against the current or to stand alone. Not comfortable, but possible. And with choice, there is independence. And then it has like a visualization or an activity. I can be independent. Visualize a place made very bright by multiple lamps. They are so strong that you can barely look in their direction. Then, imagine a cone of shadow around you, as if it is marked a space between you and everything else, and in that space, you are sovereign. So, a lot to think about. I think it's a really powerful, underrated deck because, well, I'm just saying because I don't really see it a lot, but it's something that I enjoy working with. I pull a card. I pull a card from it when I just need an empowering message, and definitely a keep in my collection. This is Portraits of a Woman inspirational cards. Then you also have the She Sirens Oracle. This is by Lisa Lister. And the backs, you can see, is already very powerful. I edged mine. I think I edged mine. Yes, I'm pretty sure I edged mine. So this doesn't come edged. And I love the colorful and the bright. I love the bright colors on this deck. I love the keywords. They are unique. The art style is also very unique, very powerful. So if the Portraits of a Woman is more like the beautiful, a beautiful portrait or like a refined portrait, this one is like the wild energy, the untamed energy of a woman. And I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy having both in my collection. This doesn't fail to energize me or, just make me go, just make me feel so proud, so strong to be a woman. And she has another deck that's come out. I forgot what it's called, but it just, but I'm also, it's in the same art style, and I am also considering picking it up. But yes, this is, love this one. So definitely another keep in my collection. This is the She Sirens Oracle by Lisa Lister. Okay, then let's move to another to an indie deck this time. This is the Wild Seeker Tarot by Bryna Shields. And this one is new to my collection, so I haven't really had time to work with it, but I was so drawn to the colorful nature of this deck. So it is colorful, it is a little bit nature-based. Again, the images of the woman here are is very empowering to me because of the figure, the fuller figure. It's not body perfect imagery. And the colors are just so exciting because it's like pinks and purples and bright yellows. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that. For this type of art, for this type of colorway, and it is a little bit bigger than standard tarot size. It is a glossy cardstock. I haven't really worked with this because, again, it's quite new. But yes, it is something that I definitely was drawn to and wanted to get. So you can notice that it is sticking a little bit. That's actually my issue with glossier cardstock. But I hope that, as I keep working with it, it'll work itself out. Yeah. So that is the Wild Seeker Tarot by Bryna Shields. And I think I have two more. So here, this is a mass market oracle deck. This is the Women of Myth. So let me open it up. So I was thinking whether to put this in my collection video for Gods and Goddesses, but it's not exactly all Gods and Goddesses, so that's why I decided to shift it here. The guidebook is quite nice. I also like the images and the art. This deck is the way I envisioned, or what I wanted, the deep, dark, and dangerous. I think that was what that deck was called. What I wanted that deck to be. And I find that type of energy, that like dangerous, dark, feminine energy as in this deck. And I think that this just did it better, for lack of a better term. So there are different characters, different archetypes of women here, women of myth in this deck. And yeah, if anything, it is a nice read. Like, there's a lot to learn from, or a lot to read about. You can use this guidebook as a starting off point, but there's the stories here, the characters that you will meet. This is a Filipina warrior princess, so that is a plus that Urduha is here. So this is the Women of Myth Oracle deck, and also a deck that I will be keeping in my collection. And last but not least, this is a deck from Ethany. This is the Bad Bitches Tarot. One of my first few decks, one of the decks that I initially marked to just use for myself. So even up to now, this deck has just been used for personal readings. I haven't let anyone else use this or even touch it. Although I don't normally have any issue with that. It's just that for this particular deck, I just felt, this is one of my first few decks, so I was a bit protective about it. I love the simplicity of this deck. I love how they represent bad bitches, or women in very confident poses. It is also a diverse deck. Unfortunately, I do think this is out of print now, but I love how the images are depicted. They're like very fashionable. I really think that it is well done and shuffles so well. I love the pink gilding. And as with other Ethany decks, I like how she makes her guidebooks. They're very informative. And for each of the entries, you have the bare meaning, and then you have the meaning, the boudoir meaning, the business meaning, the bank or finances, and the blocked or reversed meanings. So this one, is something that I enjoyed working with, and I still enjoy working with when I do bring it out. But since I do have a lot of decks, it's mostly or usually in storage. But yeah, so let me just pick some of my favorites here. So definitely the Wisdom of Tula, portraits of a woman. So probably I'll just keep it with these 3 decks. I hope you enjoyed this collection video. If you want to see more, stay tuned. I still have a few more to go, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!